The day that just ended is already gone, and a part of you has not quite let it leave. You can feel it in the small reluctance to close your eyes, the sense that if you stay awake a little longer, you might somehow hold the day open, keep it from becoming the past. The morning you woke into was one person. The hour you are lying in now is another. And somewhere in between, without your permission, the day turned a corner and walked off, taking its tasks and its tensions with it. So let this be the place where we stop reaching after it. This is about a single quiet truth that makes sleep possible, that every stage of a day and of a life has its own hour, and then that hour passes, and the passing is not a loss to be fought, but a rhythm to be trusted. The day that ended tonight was a stage. It was never meant to be the whole. And learning to let a stage close, instead of clutching at what is already leaving, might be the most peaceful thing you do tonight. There's a poem by Hermann Hesse called Stages, and it carries the spirit of this hour better than almost anything written. Without quoting its lines, what it says is this: that in every beginning there lives a kind of magic, a quiet power that helps us to live, and that life calls us through one stage after another, each in its own season. The poem does not ask us to cling to any single stage, however dear. It asks the heart to be ready, when the time comes, to take leave of what it loved and to begin again, serene and unafraid, in the next. The danger is not in moving through the stages. It is in refusing to leave one when its hour is over and try to live in a room the day has already emptied. You feel that refusal tonight as the tug to keep replaying what is done. But Hesse's instruction is gentle and exact. Be ready to take leave, not coldly, but with the trust that another beginning waits on the far side of this letting go. The same recognition runs through the oldest practical philosophy we have. Marcus Aurelius, alone at night with his journal, watched the same river you are watching now. In Meditations, in George Long's old translation, time is like a river made up of the events which happen, and a violent stream. For as soon as a thing has been seen, it is carried away, and another comes in its place, and this will be carried away too. The emperor is not mourning. He is describing the simple physics of being alive. The event arrives, it is seen, it is carried off, and the next comes to take its place, and it too will be carried away. The day you are grieving was one of those events. It was always going to be carried off by the current. This is not bleak. It is an enormous permission. If the current carries every day off regardless, then your clutching changes nothing except your own rest. The day does not need you to hold it. Your only real choice is whether to lie here exhausted from gripping the water, or to open your hands and let the river be a river. There is a third tradition that turns this same truth into a quiet nightly practice, and its name is maranasati, the Buddhist mindfulness of finitude. It sounds severe until you actually do it, and then it does the opposite of frighten. The practice is simply to recollect, gently, that this day will not come again, that this night, with its particular quiet, is itself a passing thing. Not to make you anxious, but to make you present, to let the very fact that it is leaving settle you into the small, real peace of having lived it. The tradition found, over centuries, that remembering how things pass does not darken them. It clarifies them. It makes the closing of a day feel less like a small death to resist and more like the folding of one stage into the next. Notice how much of your tiredness tonight is not from the work, but from the holding on. You spent the day inside its hour, and that was right. But near the end, you began trying to keep the hour from ending, to carry it past its own border into the night where it does not belong. That is the strain, not the day itself, which was finite and is finished, but the refusal to let it be finished, the quiet insistence that you should still be inside a stage that has already closed its door. Turn it the other way. The day had its hour, and it was full, and now its hour is over. The way noon is over by dusk and dusk by dark, not as failures, but as their completion. Nothing was taken from you that you were meant to keep. The stage gave you what a stage gives, and then, on time, it passed. You are not losing the day. You are being released from it, into the next stage, which is rest. So tonight, let the stage that ended be over. I let this day reach its hour and pass, without trying to hold it open. I accept that what is already leaving was never mine to keep. I let the river of time carry off what it always carries, and I unclench my hands. I remember gently that this night will not come again, and I let that make me present, not afraid. I trust that a new beginning waits on the far side of this letting go, with its own quiet magic. I take leave of the day the way the heart is meant to, ready to begin again. So let the day close the way an hour closes quietly and on time, the stage folding into the night the way dusk folds into the dark without protest or loss. And let the river Marcus watch go on carrying everything past, this day swept by and the next not yet arrived, while you lie here at last with open hands, no longer gripping the water, remembering as the old practice teaches that this very night is itself a passing and precious thing, and letting that remembrance settle you rather than startle you, so that the heart can do what Hesse asked of it. Take leave without bitterness and trust the beginning hidden in every leave-taking. And somewhere on the far edge of this rest, the morning is already keeping its own watch. The sacred hour the ancients guarded, the Brahma Muhurta of the old Vedic dawn. The hour Charles Cheesler studies as light resetting the body's clock, and Andrew Huberman builds his morning protocol around. The hour that guards beginnings the way this hour accepts, endings so that nothing is truly lost between them, only passed from one keeper to the next. The morning guarding the sacred hour of beginning while the night accepts the sacred hour of passing. And you, held between the two, with nothing left to hold, can let this stage release you now into the long, unhurried current and sleep. Begin disciplined and reflective.